Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing out there? We'll give this a minute or so for people to jump on. Hello, JT. Is it Damio? Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm really bad with names. Can everybody hear me out there? Can you see me okay? I know a lot of people were saying last week, I got messages afterwards that they weren't able to, they didn't get notified. So I just put out another notification. I put it on Facebook. I don't know what's going on. All right, thank you, JT. We'll give this a little bit longer. Maybe some people can jump in. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong. I follow the protocol as far as setting up the live and doing all that. I just don't know why people aren't getting notified. It's not like that I've done or talked about something that YouTube says, quote, it not appropriate, or you can't say that or do that. Shadow banned. Oh yeah, this is true. I forgot about that. May have to start doing my live streams later, I believe. The more subjects you can tag in the video, the better. Yeah, I did do a lot of tags, so I am doing that. Like I said, this is all learning curve, and I'm trying to figure this stuff out. I've watched a few videos on different people and what they say to do with the live streams and how to set it up and to make sure you maximize the people that get notified and that join. So I'm working on it. It's a work in progress. It's the story of my life right now. Good morning. Okay, we got some people jumping in now. But JT, I think you got a point. I'm gonna have to change it. Maybe to like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, somewhere in there. Because I know you usually AP does his right around 4, so I don't really want to interfere with that or anything. And I like to watch APs also, so so we're gonna do that. How about we shoot? What do you think? 2 o'clock? You think 2 o'clock would be a good time to do the live streams on Sunday? All right, let's see who's all in here now. Lucille, how you doing? Abroad, 4 ships. How's everybody doing? If you're aiming to do it Sunday after church, 2:30. What time zone? Eastern Standard Time. I'm in Florida. Today I put on my Florida shirt for everybody because everybody always makes comments. I wear all my Ron John gear. So today I figured I'd do a Florida shirt since I have a lot of these. All right, we'll give it one more minute to get in here, and then we're going to get going. Hopefully, maybe people get notified and can watch the replay. And then we're going to change it. we'll try the 230. I'll take your suggestion, and we'll try 230 next week. This way here, if people like in the Midwest or whatever, they might be able to catch it. I wore that type of shirt while I was in the Middle East. Everyone wanted my shirts. Yeah. When I go up north, everybody's like, "Where'd you get that?" And then it's just like, well, I live in Florida, so you can buy them just about anywhere. All right. So we're going to get going here in just a second. And we'll hopefully everybody can catch the live streams, and we're going to shoot for 2:30 next Sunday. Didn't put much thought into the church thing and then people getting out of church. That was my bad. Live and learn, right? As my father always used to tell me. All right, so today we're talking about the censorship that's going to be going on, that's starting to a ripple effect, and how the CEO Tim Cook is he's almost trying to change this. I was doing some reading and investigating yesterday afternoon on this, and I found it quite intriguing how he took some heat. He's taken some heat from China, and he is because they want him to censor a lot of the different apps and things. I'm just trying to see if other people are jumping in here. He's trying to introduce. They want him to block a lot of the apps and stuff that come on the Apple phone that they put out there. They don't want those over there in those countries. And it looks like that he may agree to do this because, let's face it, they don't want to lose money. So he's willing to sacrifice censorship with money. And the one thing that I found on 3 different articles that they're worried about is if he starts doing that over there, what's going to take place over here for people. Now, I don't have any Apple products. I don't care for them. I think they're overpriced. They do have a lot of cool features and things that they do and all this kind of stuff. And some people love them, and that's great. I'm an Android person. I always have been. I know the Android. I know how to use it. I know what all the functions are. And for me to switch and go to Apple, it's just not feasible. And I'm not paying that kind of money for a phone. But there's a lot of people out there where you could be affected if you do have Apple products on what his decision comes down to. And the funny thing is, with the whole censorship that he's putting out right now he's starting to target and go after everybody else from Facebook, Google, Twitter, all these different huge money-making entities that he's going after. And he wants them to, in a sense, follow suit. And Facebook is really, bumping back against him. And he doesn't really agree with what he's doing. And one of the ironic things about the whole situation is what he wants to do. He's, the new iOS that's coming out from Apple, I think it's the 14, I believe it is. That one there will give everybody, when you get that phone, you can go in and you basically can enable any type of tracking or any type of anything on that phone. But I guess you have to, the way it sounds, is you have to go in and you have to do that when you get the phone, when you do the initial setup. If you don't do it when you do the initial setup, from what I have gathered from doing my research, you will not be able to change it afterwards. So you have to make a decision right then and there. And so Facebook is Mark Zuckerberg, he's really bouncing back against that whole situation there. Google, on the other hand, is kind of like laying low, and they don't want to get into any of the discussions. Now, we already know how YouTube really watches everything that we do as creators and how they scrutinize certain things, certain terminologies, tags, certain wording. You have to be so careful when you're talking about any type of sensitive subject. Hence, right, we call you know what Charlie Victor 19. Because if you start using too many terminologies, next thing you know, they either flag your account, they'll give you a strike or anything else. I've been lucky enough so far, I haven't had any infringements, any strikes, anything on any of my videos. I did do one video. It was kind of the heat of the moment video, if you want to call it. And, you know, what happened once I did the video and I put it out there, and then I sat back and thought about it for a few minutes and I pulled the video down. We all have those moments. You have things that just really get under your skin and you just want to vet. But the problem is you can't vet to anybody else besides somebody in your own home, you know, or maybe over the phone. But who's to say that they're not going to start listening? You know, with the whole 5G thing, you know, they have access to anything. A lot of people disagree with me on this, but I'll tell you from a standpoint, my 5G phone, when you can turn off stuff and everything else, you can try to do whatever you want to do, and it still knows where you were. Next thing you know, you get home and something's going to pop up on your phone and say, hey, how was Pizza Hut? We saw you were there. Or how was Walmart? We saw you were there. Will you rate the store? It already knows where you are. So it's only a matter of time before, if they keep this whole censorship thing rolling in the wrong direction that has started from the beginning of our civilization here in America, if they keep that rolling, it's just going to be a ripple effect. And they're going to try to take every little bit, a piece of anything that you can do, say, whatever, you know. And the top people in this country, the millionaires and the billionaires that own all these companies and medias and everything else, they're the ones that are trying to put through all these different restrictions on a lot of people, especially the small guy like me. You know, they don't want you to take away from them, but it's okay for them to put it out there and talk about it on the media, on TV. But if we do something on here, whether it be on YouTube or if you do it on any of these different platforms, they're going to start, you know, scrutinizing everything that's out there, and you will not be able to talk, say, or anything. They're going to have like all these quote magical words that can't be used. And let me give you some examples of some of this stuff. Let me just jump in here and see if it's got more people coming in. Bob R, how you doing? Sheila Smith, how you doing? All right. You know, this whole censorship all started with, if you want to get a little bit of a history lesson here, it's not something new. It's not something that just took place and it's just happening now. You know, it's getting worse now, but it has started since basically when the British came over on the Mayflower in, what was it, 1629. You know, there was a group of people that came over on, you know, all the boats and stuff when they first settled here. And they were just holding, quote, holding more like a church, if you want to call it. Okay. They were doing like, you know, Bible readings and maybe singing some hymns. Okay. Well, the British colony leader did not like that. And what he did is he sent the military over there to break it up so they could not do any of that. And they couldn't do anything or that wasn't approved by him or the Queen at the time. You know, and this is where it all started. When they first hit the shores over here back in 1629, this is where it all started. And, you know, a lot of this stuff kind of led up to them writing the Constitution of the United States because of rights. So we all have rights that were written way back when they wrote the Constitution of the United States. And, you know, through the 1800s, you know, during the, see if there's anybody else. I don't see anybody, you know, during the American Civil War, you know, basically the Postmaster General would not let a mail carrier bring any type of pamphlets down south to where the slaves could see where they were trying to free the slaves. You know, so the Postmaster General put a stop to that, you know, and that infringed on free speech. You know, there's just so much that has gone on. You know, a lot of different presidents have gone through a lot of different things back in history. Franklin D. Roosevelt, you know, I mean, he had a whole bunch of stuff happen to him. Truman is another one. He had a lot of stuff that happened to him. Let's just see if anybody's coming in. Four Ships, how you doing? Okay. We'll just keep going here. Like I was saying, Truman had a lot of stuff that happened. Eisenhower, Nixon, they all had these little quirks that they tried to put through to censor different things, especially with the war, the Cold War, and all that type of stuff. You know, the censorship has been going on and it has slowly been building over the decades of presidents. And they've had to deal with this. And a lot of times they've lost against the Supreme Court. A lot of, like, the New York Times fought them and they won because of, you know, the Pentagon Papers and those type of things. You know, I mean, it's just something people don't realize that this is just not happening now. You know, a lot of the newer, quote, generation that don't know a lot about history and what has taken place, they think, you know, this is like the worst that it's ever been, when this has been going on since we hit Plymouth Rock. You know what I mean? Clinton had stuff going on, George W. Bush, Obama administration, you know, I mean, they all had stuff where they were trying to block like information and everything else. Trump, he had his own little thing that went on where he put a gag order on, who was it? The EPA and the USDA. There's everybody, every president had something that was going on, that people just, Granny Goose, how you doing? Glad to see you. And one thing that I would really have to tell people about what's going on with this whole censorship thing is eventually they're going to try to take control of how we get information. That's the real scary part. Now, you can try maybe to get around that, but you may have to try to make sure that you take this, and run with it and do something soon. And maybe you're asking yourself, what does this really have to do with prepping? Well, if they take away the way you can get information or the way that you can receive information, then what are you going to do? If, for instance, if you have a ham radio, okay, if you don't have a ham radio license, you still can listen to whatever is out there. You're not allowed to speak on a ham radio without a ham radio license. I have a ham radio. I can listen in to whatever I can pick up. But who's to say that in the near future, they're not going to start restricting, if you buy a new ham radio, that you will not be able to pick up certain IDs or stations or anything else because they'll block them right from the manufacturer through the government. Just a thought. We're going down this road and it's not really a pretty thing. It's actually pretty scary if you think about it, because you need certain types of information. You need good information in order to survive in an emergency situation, in order to survive in a drastic type scenario of, say, if it was an EMP or if it was a grid down type situation, natural disaster. You need some way to be able to get information, reliable information. And I would suggest for people to really look at trying to pick up some type of a ham radio. And this way here, if you do something like that now, it's very difficult for them to really start blocking channels, even though it is through the airwaves, but it would be easier to get around certain subjects from what I've gathered and reading and watching about ham radios and what they can do and how you can change frequencies and everything else. It's all on, there's a lot of people that have a lot of money invested in some of those, systems. They have the real high powered antennas. They can change their frequencies around. They really know what they're doing. They've been doing it their whole lives, especially some of the old guys that were in the service, and, their job was the radio room and things of this nature. They learned how to get around things. I know when my brother was stationed in Desert Storm, he was able to make a phone call to my mom through the radio, but there was a way around it that the radio guy knew, and all he did was just call my mom and just tell her he was okay, he was alive, and he was doing well. It was like less than a minute phone call, but he got through to my mom and it made her feel so much better. It wasn't a 20-minute phone call, but it worked. So if you know the ins and outs, there's ways around different things. But if they start really cracking down on the people building a lot of these products and radios and everything else, it's going to be a lot harder if the station isn't even in there. You know what I'm saying? So I would suggest, as a prepper standpoint, of making sure that you have some way to get some really good information, and in a time of really necessity. You can buy weather radios and you can get the NOAA weather forecast warnings and all that type of stuff. But if you're looking for more, you might want to start really thinking about really checking out and seeing what's out there and what maybe you can afford to do with ham radios. All right, let me jump in the chat real quick here. Let me scroll down through here real quick, folks. Ooh. Oh, board, don't rub it in if you're in Florida. I'm in Southeast Michigan, minus 28, no sun, bit of wind. Yes. I talked to my mother this morning. She's in Vermont. It was minus 11 with the wind chill of 20 below. I told her that I was sitting on my back porch having my coffee, sitting in the sunshine. And I think she said the same thing. Don't rub it in. These companies will agree to almost anything China asks. Yes, I think you're totally right there. Unfortunately, that's just the name of the game. It seems like China controls quite a bit of just about everything. You know, you want to try something really fun, folks? I'll bet you anything. Try something really fun. Next time you go to Walmart, make it a point to walk around the store and count exactly how many products you see that have the little tag on it that says made in the USA. Go ahead. I do it once in a while just for fun. Is right. China is our real enemy. Yeah, I agree. Yes, but the corporations are a bigger threat. Yes, China is pushing it, but we can easily fix it with our dollar and not buy those products. Same with the media. It would be really nice. I'm a firm believer, and I really stand behind making things back in this country. This whole thing of everything has to be made in another country, then brought back over here is just, well, let's just put it, it's bullshit. Um, we used to be the giant in everything, textiles. We made everything here. Everything was made here. And then all of a sudden, all these quote big businessmen started slowly making all the changes. And they think, they're doing what's best, but they're doing what's best for their pocketbook, not what's best for the American people. So they take the jobs, they ship them overseas, and now you got all these people that are out of work. When used to be, people were working at these companies until they were dead. They loved what they did. They were we made our own clothes here. We made, your own sheets and towels, and you made everything here, One of the big things that really I've been a Coleman guy from my whole life. And when Coleman moved everything from the United States and they moved it to China, the quality of their product went down the tubes. That's why my old stove that I've done videos on that you guys have seen, if you watched any of some of my videos, my old stove is 20 some odd years old. Yeah, it looks a little beat, but let me tell you, that thing has been to hell and back. But I haven't done a damn thing to it, and it still works great to this day. Now, you buy one of the new ones and you look at the quality of it, it's not the same. But they won't even charge you even more than what I paid for. Granted, I bought mine 20 years ago. We don't use smartphones. We will, they go to cyber money. Yeah, I think a lot of people are headed down that road. It's unfortunate. I feel bad for my grandkid. I haven't had, my son is engaged, so he's not married yet, but my daughter, and, I have my grandson, and I cringe at what this is going to be like when he gets older. I'm in my 50s, and, but I cringe what in another 30 years, what this place is going to look like. Everybody's already fighting over everybody. They're censoring everything that you want to do or say. You have to be so careful in how you talk so you don't offend somebody. And my opinion on that one is, in certain situations, just put your big boy panties on and deal with it. But people can't do that nowadays. They can't deal with the truth. The truth hurts. And that's just the problem with this country. When I was growing up, I don't know how many times, maybe getting smacked or whipped with the belt. It didn't happen but twice. That's all it took with my father. I mean, after once, it's like you don't do it again. You learn manners. You learn how to work. When I was growing up, I don't know about anybody else, but I cut grass. I started cutting grass when I was 12 years old. And my father used to go back and check every yard that I cut. And if I missed an area or whatever else, I had to drag the lawnmower back there that day and recut the grass. But I learned how to do a job and do it well. And I learned to respect the fact that if you make a mistake, you correct it, you apologize for it, and you move on. But nowadays, we can't do that. I have a smartphone. I have an Android. It's an S20. I use mine a lot with YouTube videos and, shooting YouTube videos. I have my GoPro also that I shoot. I use it for communication with my kids and all that type of stuff. So, it is what it is. Bob R, if I didn't have to take pictures for work, I would have a flip phone. That's what my mom has. She just has the old style flip phone. And, it's perfect for her. Actually, she just had to get a new one because her other one finally died. And Lord, I don't even know how old that thing was. But Sheila Smith, I hate censorship, but it is real. It's real in a lot of different areas. It's just amazing. I mean, if you go on to Wikipedia and just type in, I'm trying to make sure that I word it right. You just type in, I think it's censorship in the United States. And I mean, the whole thing is just, it's huge, and it'll blow you away what's in there. These heavy-handed leftist tactics also bothers moderate Democrats. Yeah, true. No steam. Be careful with the words. Use other words, and we'll get it. Ripple back to them, and they will lose a lot of money. Yeah, I think eventually, a lot of these restrictions are going to hurt a lot of different companies. I totally agree, Sheila. What comment got flagged? Demio, your comment nuke got flagged. So we're not allowed to talk about opposition. Yeah, it is YouTube. Granny Goose, I wonder if Big Lots sells flip phones. I don't know if they do or not. I haven't been in a Big Lots in quite a long time. You used to be able to get them at Walmart. Now, I don't know if you still can or not, but that's an idea. Or if nothing else, if you have the ability, go online and see if you can get something like that from Amazon or something, No, it's about 40 minutes away, so here we go. They already control 99% of info. Granny Goose, you make a very, very good point. All right, we might need to come up with some type of lingo that we can all understand among each other. Their code breakers try and decrypt. I like it. Well, that would be pretty interesting. Yeah, if we could come up with something really good. you'd be a millionaire because everybody could say what they wanted and the government would be like, what are they saying? Wind talkers. Roger the duck is in the can and the oats are on the shelf. Now that's a good one. The chicken is on the way to the bank. Wife and I got a bunch of seeds. We have 0.86 acres grow on a fairly rural edge of a small town. Hey, well, that's a great idea. You know, we have no idea where this whole thing is going. And with Charlie Victor 19, we don't know where that's going. I'm sure most of you seen in the news where they talked about now it's all these different variants and all that type of stuff. And now they're not so sure if the vaccine that they're giving out to, you know, however many million people they have already, if the vaccine that they have now will actually take care of the variant that's coming out now. So their answer is they just don't know yet, which in a sense, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt because, you know, this is all, you know, real new. It's been pushed right through and it's a learning curve. They have to learn about the virus and what it does and how it mutates. It's kind of like the flu. You know, they just didn't come up with the flu vaccine overnight. And that's why every year they have to come up with another vaccine because it had mutated to something else. So they have to try and get it to where it can take care of everything plus the new one. You know what I'm saying? So you usually see where they talk about, you know, the flu vaccine was, you know, some years it's high. It's, you know, it was 70 or 80% effective. And some years it's low. It was 40 to 50% effective. It's just because they're trying to guess and trying to make sure that they get that in that vaccination so that it, you know, everybody can benefit from that. And if you do get the flu, it doesn't kill you. And that's what they're aiming to do with this vaccine. They're trying to make it to where if something happens, you do pick up Charlie Victor 19, that you don't die from it. And it looks like, if we're going to talk about that real quick, have you all seen what's taking place, which is really getting under my skin at this point? So now they're coming out, the airlines, what they want to do is they want to put regulations in place. You could call it a quote, some type of a censorship in a sense, maybe infringe on your freedoms, as I would call it. And what I'm saying is to fly, what they're putting out there, and they want, I'm guessing, mandated and put into law that you have to have the vaccination. Then 3 days before you want to fly, you have to be tested for Charlie Victor 19. Now, wherever you're flying to, you have to make sure that you can be tested again 3 days before your return flight so that you can get back on the plane and fly back home. Now, that gets pretty, you know, depending on where you're flying to or where you're going, it could be kind of a roadblock, if you want to say, because, you know, you're not a, quote, citizen there. You're coming like, I want to travel up north. Well, now I got to find a doctor or, you know, medical convenient or a hospital or whatever where I could get a test done 3 days before. I have to have the results too, 3 days before I fly back to Florida, which I think is just total BS. I'm sorry. You know, if I get the vaccination and I have proof of that, you know, take my temperature and everything else, you know, and let me go on my merry way. All right. But now you're going to throw all these other roadblocks in here, and that's going to come back to hurt the airlines and the travel industry, because a lot of people, that's going to be a big headache for them. And I disagree with that totally. I don't know what your folks' opinion is on that. Maybe you don't travel at all. Or if you do, you do it by car. But I don't agree with that at all. That's just going way overboard as far as I'm concerned. All right, let me get back in the chat. Sorry to ramble on. That's one that just gets under my skin. I'd rather have old appliances than these new modern. Nice words here. Crap appliances. They are like cars, disposable. They do not last long. Waste of money. Yeah, that's true. You spend all this money on some of these new appliances and stuff, and it'll do anything except for fold it. And I think they're working on probably that. And it can be controlled by your smartphone and everything else. But if you don't take out that extended warranty, if it breaks down, forget it. Just go buy another washing machine, because they're going to charge you like 3 times what you paid for the washer. You have more land than us. You can grow quite a bit of land. In Florida is very expensive, $30K for 24.25 acres. Yeah, Florida is not really a good place to buy land, folks. The way they're building down here, a little speck of land, if they want it, they'll pay you $500,000 for it. All right, let me scroll back up here. JT says, Walmart has certainly changed since Sam died. Yes, I do agree. That poor man is rolling over in his grave with, what was his name? James Cash Penney from J.C. Penney. So true. Walmart equals made in China. Yeah. Best for corporations, less taxes and cheaper labor. Yep. I mean, that's what they're shooting for. They pay these people in all these other countries, not just China. I mean, Mexico, wherever they want to take it to. They pay them less what they would pay us, a fair minimum wage. They don't even pay them that. In some of these countries, they're paying them pennies on the dollar to make your hairbrush, if you know what I'm saying. And Lord only knows in some of these countries that they're using child labor. Now, I can't prove that, right? But we know it's happened. We know there's been companies where they've busted in certain countries that they were using child labor. I mean, come on, Jeffrey Lindquist, hey, how you doing? I have a stove and a lantern that were made in the 1950s. Yes, I don't know if it was made in the 50s, but my brother-in-law, when he was, I want to say 18 or 19, for his birthday, his 2 sisters bought him a Coleman gas lantern and a Coleman gas stove. Not propane, they didn't have it back then, it was gas. And he still has them, and they still work. I mean, that's what I'm saying. The quality of things that were made between up to probably, I want to say right around like the 60, 70 era, because once we hit the 80s, then everything just kind of went and it was gone from here. So like in the 60s and 70s, they were still making really good products. Like, instance, all right, toasters. You buy a new toaster nowadays and you pay anywhere between, say, 20 and 40 bucks. Okay? It's a piece of crap. You have to keep putting the toast down 1 or 2 times because it just doesn't toast it. And then if you turn the temperature thing up a little too high, then all it does is burn it. There's no happy medium here. Whereas in the old toasters that I grew up with, you put your bread in, you'd set it like at 3, you push it down, when it popped up, man, it was golden brown. Perfect. Every single time. Is it just me? Everything is just, they don't build anything to last. They want it to break within a year or so, so you have to buy another one. That is the whole terminology behind and the thought process behind all these multi-billionaires. Don't make it to last. Make it to last for a year, because we need to come back and buy another product. Oh, boy, the young people have been coddled all their lives, so everything offends them. I'll stay away from that situation. My kids weren't. That's all I'm going to say. They ask anymore. As soon as the warranty is gone, things start going wrong. Yep. It's the truth, isn't it? I mean, we all know as soon as the warranty's gone, on whatever product it may be, and well, something's going to break. It's almost like they have some way to contact that little piece of whatever it is, especially if it's electronic, and say, okay, well, we're shutting you down now. Yeah. The GE resistance agenda has way much attention brought to it, and people on both sides are saying no. Those are the people who are not going to survive in the shift. They can suck it up, adapt, and thrive. Yep. Hi, Jan. How you doing? See, you just got in. Sorry, you're so late. Yep, I know. We were talking about that earlier. I see there's a few more people in here. I think on Sundays we're going to start doing. We're going to try it out and see how it works. We're going to start doing the live stream at 2:30 and take it from there. And hopefully more people will be able to jump on. I didn't really take in consideration church and people going out to dinner afterwards and all that. And that was my bad. And but we're going to shoot next week will be 2:30. And hopefully more people will be able to jump on and get into the conversation. Harvey Black too, how you doing? Nice to see you. A few months back, there was a poll that asked how many Americans were prepping or storing extra food. 60% said yes, they are prepping for the worst. Yeah, I did see something about that, and it's in a sense it's reassuring because that's up from years past. But in another fact is, all right, so we still have 38% that aren't. A lot of people, when it comes to prepping and everything else, they just don't think that things are going to happen to them. They don't think that they're going to be affected. They think that the government's going to be there to help them out and save them. When in all reality, that's not going to happen. When, SHTF happens, what's going to happen is you're going to have to rely on yourself. That's where you become self-reliant. Whether you want to or not, you're going to be thrust into the whole survival thing. And what would you rather be? Would you rather be prepared? Would you rather have food and some way to make shelter? I mean, God forbid something happened and you had to hit the road, or do you want to have maybe some gear? I'm not saying you have to go out and spend all your money on a lot of gear. I've been buying my gear since I was 20 years old. Some of my gear is old, but I look at it as, yes, my gear and stuff is old, but it works great and I know how to use it. I have a lot of new gear, and when I get it, the first thing you got to do is you play with it. You got to figure out how it works, because in an emergency situation is not the time to try to figure anything out. And I think everybody out there would agree with me on that one. A few more months back. At 15:30, Alaska Prepper is on. Is that his time? Doing good. Liking the show. Harvey Black, thank you. ET panic attacks on the interstate too. I try to find the old routes. It takes longer, but it's worth it to me. Yes, especially down here in Florida. Traffic gets. My wife hates driving on the interstate. We have to go anywhere. No, she won't drive. Forget it. Me, I just, because I drive every day. All right. I have said, I'm a UPS driver, so I drive every day, and I have to deal with all these idiots and all these people that think that a truck stops on a dime, which it doesn't. But I just, when I first came down here and I was driving, I drove up north in the snow and all that, and then I decided I didn't want to do that anymore, so I got down here. But long story short, sometimes it's easier to blend in with the crowd than it is to try to stay out of the crowd, if you get what I'm saying. Never had a panic attack in my life till 3 years ago. Thought I was having a heart attack. Thought it was a fluke when it happened. Next time I got on I-95 again. Yeah, I-95 is I-95 at the beach line. Yeah, they're just, and I-4. I hate I-4. I absolutely despise that road. And if none of you know what I'm talking about, look it up, because it is one of the worst roads in America for accidents. It runs from Tampa to Daytona Beach. My belief, Demio, I think you make a very good point. I think that's a very, very good point. My belief is rural America is prepping and big cities are trying to pay the rent and bills. I would almost have to agree. Now, they just on the news the other day on the way home, I was listening to it's a radio station down here, WDBO, and I was listening to the news on the way home, and they were talking about the government just did a study on the worst cities in America that are in debt due to Charlie Victor 19, from the point it hit and it started affecting everything to now. And Orlando came in number 6 out of the whole 9 yards, where most people that have credit cards are pretty much maxed. They're behind on their rent or the mortgage. Their cars are being repoed. I saw a car got repoed the other day. I was doing a delivery in an apartment complex, and he came through, knew exactly what car it was, backed right up to it. I mean, it was like less than a minute, and that guy was gone. It's amazing how fast they are. Yeah, that's what I thought. Was 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. That's why I just want to make sure, I'll start mine. We'll shoot for 2:30, and this way here, we all can make it over there, because I know my moderators, most of my moderators are all AP's moderators also. So they need to get over there and get on his channel, because that's one man that I will not take anything away from him, or Survival Living. I don't want to infringe on his, but he does his, I believe, on Friday nights and stuff. Not so remote, Alaska. Hi. Shop early Sunday. I have a cat. It's kitten, so I'm just checking on her progress. Oh, yes. Orlando did get hit hard with the whole tourism thing. One of the counties here, Osceola County, which most of the people that live there are in the minority group, but they did work at Disney, and they have been hit really hard. Those people are still out of work, and Lord only knows when tourism is really going to come back. Yes, there are people that are still coming down, but nothing even close to what it used to be. The resorts and stuff that I delivered to, used to take 30, 40 packages in there a day for people that were staying there. They come down here on vacation, but they still have to order stuff. Never did get that. But, now you go in there. Some days you don't even go in. Other days you go in with just 1 or 2 packages. I mean, so it's really hit, the big resorts and things of that nature are pretty empty. Dee how you doing? Nice to see you. My Singer sewing machine was made in 1914 and I still use it. That's amazing. That is just amazing. And it probably still works as good as the day you bought it. Well, maybe that you didn't buy it, but whoever bought it. We're less than an hour from Disney, but never go there anymore. It's a zoo to drive to the Orlando area. JT, I totally agree. I stay over here on the East Coast side. I have to go to towards the Orlando area to go to work, unfortunately, actually south of Disney, but it is what it is. I hate the ride. It sucks, especially on Friday. I don't care what time you get out of work. You're going to be sitting in traffic. You could get done at noon. and you're still going to be sitting in traffic on Friday. Don't know where they all come from, but they're there. 70th Model 1. That's really old. Stored them in the attic, so they're probably dead now. Get too hot here. You never know. Take it out and take off the. I remember my grandmother's used to be able to take the top off the old sewing machine, and she would use 3-in-1 oil, and she would put little drops, all over the little moving parts and stuff in there. Put it back on and fire the thing up, and it might work. You just never know. Going back to the chat here, make sure I got everything. Yeah, it looks like I'm all caught up. So another quick thing, I'm working on my next giveaway, and I'm going to have one coming out when I hit 1,500 subscribers, which I'm not too far from. And then I'm planning a big one for when I hit 2,000. And the reason being is because a lot of it, I just want to make sure that I'm thanking everybody out there for everything that you've done for my channel. The one thing that I'm really going to ask people to do is just share the videos. That's the easiest way for me to get, to grow this community, is when you guys share the videos. And if you share it with your friends or close family, especially if they're trying to really get in the mode of starting to prep. I got a video coming out on Wednesday, and it's going to be on the different types of shelving and storage that help people out, because when you start prepping, next thing you know, you run out of cupboard space. So you have to come up with some ideas. And I had some questions. I went back through some of my videos and stuff, and I saw where a lot of people asked, about shelving and about different things in some of the different videos that I've done. So I put together a video with a bunch of different shelving in it to show you, what's out there, to give everybody an idea, because I think when you're going to start prepping, you can only prep so much, because most people's kitchens, let's face it, you're probably not a millionaire and you have this huge kitchen with a walk-in pantry the size of my master bedroom, so we're all in the same boat together here. You have to maximize your space. So that's why I did this video coming up on the shelving part, and to give you some ideas, weights and things of that nature. Now, there's another thing that I'm doing right now, because I've got so much stuff going on between work and we got some family life issues that have been going on and stuff. So I haven't been able to really concentrate on doing 2-3 videos a week with the live stream. So I'm doing some short videos. I guess I did one this past week, and I guess it was a little confusing because everybody thought that, where's the video? They thought I got censored. They thought I got blocked or whatever. And they're just shorts. It's the new program that YouTube has started and that we can utilize. And as long as it's less than 60 seconds and you put the word in there, hashtag shorts, that's going to be your key, where I'm going to be talking real quick about a video. Then there'll be a link that's going to come right up above, and you just click that link and it takes you to a previous video that I've already done. And I'm trying to do that to try to get the information out there to a lot of new people that have come in. And I actually, just off the one that I did, it was just a kind of a trial just to see if it works or not, because I noticed a lot of people are doing them now. I did gain 15 people to this community just by doing that short, and they came in and clicked on the link and it took them to a playlist. And obviously they must have liked what they saw. So I'm going to do that because it's a lot quicker to do, because there's really no editing involved when you're doing a short. You just make the short, it has to be vertical, and you just put it out there and you can put a link to it. you know, so there's no editing involved, the whole 9 yards. So you guys will be seeing those coming out, but on Wednesday will be my main video of the week, and then I'm going to have the live stream on Sundays at 2:30 is what we're going to shoot for, and hopefully more people will be able to get in here. Case. Oh, so you got 3 kittens so far. And they're still coming, huh? Oh, you have 13 adult cats, 3 large dogs, and 10 hens. Well, yes, that's true too. The more videos you make, the more likely you are to get seen and picked up in, you know, a news topic or two. And do like a 5-minute video would be best. Yep. The only good thing is with the short videos, you're not penalized as long as you have that hashtag short. So you're not penalized by the YouTube algorithm. Actually, right now they're pushing this shorts videos. So if you get on there and people watch it and, you know, they click on it, they click like and everything else, and it triggers the algorithm, and then they put it, you know, if anybody scrolled through YouTube, you see now where you see this area where it says shorts, and those are just short videos. And then if you click on it, then you can click on the person, then go to their channel, and you can see more. So I'm trying it out, and we'll see what happens. Oh, looks like you're going to have a busy day, Jan. You're going to have kittens galore. YouTube wanting to do the short videos to compete with TikTok. Yep, I totally agree. But, you know, if it helps maybe some of us small channels, although I have noticed there are a couple of large channels that are doing those. They're doing it as more of a experiment. They're experimenting with them. So I figured I would give it a shot. Can't hurt. It's like cats. I couldn't deal with all the litter boxes. Yeah, ain't that the truth? All right, we're coming up on an hour. I would like to thank everybody for joining me today. I'm sorry for picking a bad time so we didn't get more people in on this live stream. Like I said, that was my bad, and I look forward to catching you all next week on Sunday at 2:30. And everybody, just let me know if you see the notification or you get notified or something. Click something on it or a comment or something. So, because I got a lot of people last week that said they never got notified. So I know sometimes if that's an issue, or what I do is I go in, unsubscribed and resubscribe to whoever, you know, because it's happened with AP. I didn't get notified, and so I went in, unsubscribed, resubscribed, and I haven't had a problem since. I don't know if that's something that like resets it, but you know, just let me know so I can try to figure out what the heck's going on here. I get them down today. Used to sew a lot, but quit when we moved to Florida. A lot of kitties. So, all right. Everybody have a great week. Remember, stay safe, keep prepping, and keep your eyes on what's going on in the news with this whole censorship thing. And hopefully someone can nip it in the butt before it gets too far out of hand. That's my main concern on the whole censorship thing. So here in the near future, I'm going to, like I did say, I'm going to have another giveaway coming up. I'm still in the midst of putting it all together. I do have a big giveaway that I'm going to be covering as soon as I get all the products and I get them all together for hitting 2,000 subscribers. That's what I'm shooting for. I just keep small little increments. You know, somebody did make a suggestion to me, I'll do it for 5,000. I don't want to do that. That's too far off. We'll do 2,000. You know, I'm almost to 1,500 now. 2,000 is a good mark. And this way here, I can get a really good gift out to somebody. And that's what I'm shooting for. So until next time, like I said, you all stay safe. You keep prepping. See you next Sunday at 2:30 in the afternoon, Eastern Standard Time. See you all then.